Let's try this again.
Do this.
Hi, Sydney.
Hi, Dylan.
I
We
can't
finally
believe
did
we're
it.
finally doing this. Let's do this
We're
exact same thing
finally,
again.
finally doing it. It's been 6 months since this started, and now we're finally doing it
We graduated
on
college
Zoom.
in May of 2024.
Yeah,
It is
and it
March
took
of
us
2025, and we've been talking about doing a podcast since graduation. So
for, for about a year
we're
now.
finally doing it.
It took us an entire season to figure out whether we wanted to start a podcast.
Well,
It's horrifying.
now that the season is back, we have stuff to talk about. So, welcome to the
It's
Tread
back.
Lightly podcast.
We're back.
We're
We
back.
are finally back.
We have some fun things to talk about today. We don't really know what we're doing, but we're having a little fun while we're doing it. So who cares, right?
I'm not mad about it. There's definitely lots to talk about, and I'm kind of nervous.
I'm very
I'm pretty nervous.
nervous.
I'm pretty nervous.
But I think by the
I'm so
by
nervous.
episode 2 or 3, we'll be naturals at this. The road
Oh,
to Monaco,
absolutely.
the road to Monaco starts now.
It
We're
does
gonna be
start now.
interviewing Charles Leclerc and Lando
Oh,
Norris.
one day on the streets of
Call it a
Monaco.
year's time. Manifested and it's gonna happen.
It's
But
gonna happen. I know this is gonna happen.
I say we get right into it. Season starts on
I'm ready
Sunday,
when you
Sydney.
are.
What are we
I
thinking
know.
here?
I'm also nervous. We got what? We've got rain coming.
Rain,
How many
a
rookies
ton of
now?
rookies. It's gonna
How
be
many
chaos.
rookies?
It is gonna be chaos.
Hamilton in a Ferrari now? What
Lewis
is going
Hamilton in a
on?
Ferrari. Max Verstappen has some actual competition for a full season now. Is this the year that Max actually doesn't win the Drivers' Championship? Because I
I
have
don't
my
know.
opinions on that. I want to hear what you have because I don't think you're gonna like what I'm gonna say. And
I
we haven't
have,
planned this at all, by the way. I haven't told Sydney anything of my plans.
I was gonna say, I haven't
So,
heard anything.
but what are we thinking for the season? Let's hear your thoughts.
My thoughts, I know what Drake thinks, and I know who Drake thinks it's gonna be a Lando season. But as much as I love little Lando, I don't know if I'm gonna put all my money on him.
Well, I think we're in the same boat,
I
unfortunately.
don't think I'm gonna put all my
We're
money on
both big McLaren fans, big Lando
him.
fans, but I don't know. I still don't think you know what I'm gonna say though. I have a feeling.
I don't. I really don't.
So who
Actually,
give me your prediction. Who's the winner for the year?
as much as I hate to say it, I feel like it's either gonna be Max or Hamilton.
Interesting. Care to elaborate? Let's hear it.
I mean, I feel like with I forget, I can't remember what it was. I know you and I've talked about this, but wasn't it the last time that Hamilton won? Something weird was going on, and now like the stars are aligning.
Well, oh, I do
Wasn't
remember
it the
this.
last time that he was
It
in
was
the
the last
test?
time
Was
that
it
he
the last time
switched a
that he was
team, he crashed in testing,
yes,
which he did
in
do again in
testing,
the
and then he
Ferrari
won.
testing. He immediately won in
Yes,
McLaren or Mercedes. I don't believe he did it in McLaren, but I could be wrong. We could be wrong on that. We'll check on
can't
that.
remember.
But
I
the
have to look
stars
at
are
that.
aligning. They're giving him a car that is clearly fast. Max is not off
That's
to
what I'm
the
saying.
greatest starts. He looked all right in testing, but a lot of cars look better. He's Max Verstappen. We always know that, but you also have to
That's
think he doesn't have the teammate in Checo, and Checo was always known for protecting Max as a teammate. I don't think Liam Lawson's going to do that at
ugh,
all. Liam has shown
I
that
don't think he
he
is
is
either. I don't
willing
think he is
to
either.
kind of battle it out with anyone. He's already made enemies with
Wait,
Fernando
no, from
Alonso.
the
Like he's made
start.
enemies with Max before. He outqualified Max. Like Max doesn't have that safety net anymore.
I also just think that Red Bull is on its downfall. I think this past season has shown that they're good, but they're not good enough.
While Adrian Newey, of course, going to Aston Martin. That's a big one.
Is
He is out of Red
huge,
Bull.
huge. But I also
You
just feel
even
like there were
saw at the end of
so
the
many issues with the car. So many issues with the car.
yeah,
I don't
there
know.
a lot, but I'm gonna just rip off the Band-Aid for what I think's gonna happen that you're not gonna
I
like.
know I'm kind of nervous to hear this.
I don't
I'm
think
nervous to hear this.
I don't think Lando's gonna win the drivers' championship. I don't think Lewis is gonna win the drivers' championship.
Really?
I don't think Max is gonna win the drivers' championship. I
Oh,
think this
come
is
on.
no, oh well, little hot shocker. I'm going with Mr. Charles Leclerc this year. I think the
Really?
stars are aligning for him. He's been at the team. They've shown that he's the number one guy. They chose him over Sainz as if it was ever really a competition between them two. He is their golden boy. Their car is finally looking very, very good. The end of last year, they were competing with McLaren.
True.
The beginning of this year in testing, they look very good. Lewis is going to take some time to adjust to his new Ferrari. I don't think he's going to be winning right away. I think it'll come, but I don't think it's going to come right away. Max and Red Bull,
Hmm.
I feel like the downfall is coming. There's really no thought behind that. Just
Yeah, we can agree on that
total
one.
manifest. And as much as I hate to say it, I don't know if Lando has that, it factor for me
I
where
don't think
he's going
he's
to just break away from everyone. Because Leclerc has shown
I
he
don't
can
think
do
he's
it.
ready.
Leclerc has shown with the worse car than Red Bull, time and time again, he's competing with Max. Give him the car, and I think this is his year to lose, honestly. But well, what are we thinking on that?
I can see it, but do you think he's ready? Do you think do we I don't know, I'm trying to think like do you think Hamilton could pose a threat to that though?
I think he absolutely can. I don't think it's gonna, but like I mentioned, I don't think it's gonna be right away. I think he's gonna take some time to get used to the car. Lewis is also like he knows his role right now, right? He knows that Leclerc is a young up and coming star. He's still
Yeah.
what, 26 years old. I don't know. That's totally off the whim. Lewis is, of course, running out of time to find that DRS championship, but he also knows if he's out of it early, if he doesn't win a couple races early and he's still getting used to the car, and Leclerc's actually in line for a potential drivers' championship, there can be team rules, there can be a lot of things that kind of factor into the decisions.
I could see that. I could see it happening. I don't know. I don't know.
I
I can
just
see I see where you're
manifesting.
coming from. I see where you're coming from. I don't know. I again like I feel like the reason why I'm so heavy set on Max and Lewis is because they have shown time again that they are willing to do anything that it takes to get to that top and to get to that spot. Where I mean, we can agree Lando's not ready. Hopefully we'll be ready
Hopefully he's
before
ready.
too long.
I just don't have a good
Hopefully he's
feeling.
ready. I hope I'm wrong.
And
But at
by
the
the way,
same
Lando,
time,
if you're
like,
watching this, we love you. We're more than happy to
thank
have you on
you.
the
We love
podcast.
you.
Like, come on.
Please.
But please don't take it personally.
But it's I don't know. I also feel like at some points in times like Carlos was outperforming Charles
Yeah,
in the past
this is
season.
very true. I think Signs also had something to prove last year because he was looking for a
True.
seat for so
He was
long.
that is true. That is very
Um,
true.
and I also think Carlos Sainz is a much better driver than everyone gives him credit for. A lot of people
Agreed.
have started giving him credit, and he's kind of earned that. I think he's going to shock some people in Williams. I think they're going to be a legit top of the
I was
middle
about to
pack.
say
I think they'll
I think
probably
it's gonna be
be best of the
oh
rest.
thank you.
Um,
I was literally about to say I was gonna ask your opinion on Williams because I think they're up and coming.
Williams, I
I'm really
think they'll be
excited.
quick. I like James Vowles, and
I'm
their
really
driver lineup
excited.
because Sainz is one of the best drivers in the sport. Alex Albon has quietly always been one of the best in
He
the middle pack.
is such an underrated driver, I will say. Personality wise too. Such an
Yes, absolutely.
underrated driver.
I think that
Love
they'll be
him.
fighting with Aston Martin throughout the entire season for the best of the rest. I think
Yeah.
Alpine will probably take a step back, but that's for another topic.
That's we'll figure
I,
that out later.
the whole Lando and Leclerc thing, I think Leclerc is kind of finding his groove finally. He won the Monaco race after he was
That
years
was
without it and just
fantastic
bad
race.
luck. It's kind of a good
Fantastic
omen
race.
for him. It could be that time to take the next step. But
I hope it is.
as usual, we can
I don't
never
know.
discount Max Verstappen, as bad as the Red Bull car was at the end of last year. And it got better towards the end, but everyone
True.
got better towards the end. The rocket ship
I
in McLaren, you can
yeah.
never rule out Oscar Piastri. He's shown he's kind of got the dog and won't take no for an answer in terms of team
No,
rules and
I
stuff.
agree.
It's gonna be a fun
I don't know.
season.
I feel like we're gonna tell. I whoever is headed strong at the start, I think is gonna be hopefully like the contender. I mean, I look at last season and yeah, Lando had a shot halfway through the season. Like it wasn't like I don't know. We'll see. It'll
We'll
definitely be
see. It's
interesting.
going to
I'm
be a fun
nervous.
season. We're gonna
I'm
get
nervous.
at least three teams fighting for the title this year, I think, and I
Oh, at
think there could be a
least.
fourth. Mercedes
At
has looked pretty
least.
good. George Russell, the official number one driver now.
I hope I know. I'm hoping they pull through. I've never had a dislike against Mercedes. I'm hoping they at least
Yeah.
hopefully get it together to
It
bring more
would be fun to
action.
see a
Please.
nice young stud in Kimi Antonelli come up right away and
Wouldn't it?
be competing
He's
for
oh,
race wins. That's all I
I
can say.
love him by the way.
He's
He's the
awesome.
greatest.
There was a
He's
clip today
awesome.
that I know Sydney saw because I
Yeah,
sent it to
I
her, but
did.
the battle of the rookies, and Kimi Antonelli said the battle with the other rookie that he wanted the most was with Mr. Fernando Alonso.
Oh,
So he's a man of the
Mr. Alonso
people. He knows
himself.
pop culture, and he's gonna be fun to watch. But the
He's so young too. Oh my
it's gonna be
gosh.
great. But on to the next segment, I would say probably a good time for it. But
Yeah,
we've had some fun the last couple hours discovering that F1 Fantasy is back in the fold.
it's back. It's
So,
in. And my first season of
and
competing
Sydney's first
because
season,
I live under a rock, apparently.
it is going to be a fun time. So, Sid, why don't we build
Should
your
I,
team with us
should
today?
I bring it up? Should
I
I
think
pull
you
it
should
up?
bring it up right now, and we should
I feel
see
like I'm really gonna
what
get
we can
criticized
do.
for for my
Shout out Peter
choices.
Marsh and Nick Angelino, by the way. They're the only other two
Yes,
in the fantasy
yes.
F1 right now. If you guys want in it, let us know. We'll add you in it. But it's gonna be capped at 10, but
I'm excited.
this
I'm
is going to
excited. You know, I
be
have really good track record with March Madness. You can't discount me.
she does. We actually, I believe we had the same winner last year in the Kilroy's on Kirkwood bracket, which I believe we lost pretty quickly last year, but we don't need to talk about
Oh,
that.
we don't
So
talk about
we don't
that.
talk
But
about
I had a really good bracket.
that.
If
We just
yeah,
chose
we don't talk
Baylor to
about
win and they
it.
made
We
it
don't talk
to the
about it.
Sweet 16, but it's fine. That's
We
for our
don't talk about
college
it.
basketball podcast that will maybe start in 5 years at this rate, but who knows?
Probably 8 at this rate. Okay.
So let's hear
Oh,
it.
this is gonna be controversial. Okay. Obviously, you can't go wrong with my man Lando.
Lando is very expensive though. By the way,
He
I've
is
made my
very
team
expensive.
already. I'm doing this purely because I want to be entertained. And I'm competing against Sydney, but it's okay. I'll still help.
Yeah, I live under a rock. It's fine. Rub it in.
So we're picking Lando.
Let's see here. 29 million though. That's a
So remind
lot.
me, what is the total amount of money that they allocate? That should be on the top somewhere.
So I have my cost cap is $100 million.
100 million. So Lando's 30% of it.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Ah, I know.
Are you going to be t going for a strategy of taking the teams high, taking a good team like McLaren or Red Bull, or are we going to take
I
the
don't
drivers?
know. I don't know because my thought process here is maybe pick up some good drivers and then settle on maybe mid-tier teams that will score, but they'll score lower points.
That's very fair. It also you can make these changes during the season. It just depends on the cost of all the drivers. Last year, my first year of doing Formula One fantasy, I got a little lucky. I picked Lando Norris at the beginning of the season and never let go of him. So I somehow did not win, but that was because I didn't pay attention for 3 weeks. And my dad can
I
argue with a wall on that.
yeah.
But
That yeah, I can believe that. I kind of want to be bold and I kind of want to pick Williams as a constructor.
I believe I did the same. I
I'm
think I did
kind of
do
want to be
that.
I kind of want to be bold. Like it's only 13 million.
It's an idea. I think
It's definitely an idea.
the way that because for my family league that we're doing, I was able to pick two teams. So I made two different teams. I stacked my drivers on one and made middle tier teams as in that one, the same one. The other team, I got the two best teams. I believe I got McLaren and Red Bull, or McLaren or Ferrari, with one of the two, and settle with middle tier drivers. That's all depending on what you want to do. It's I will say, I
Ah,
believe Max Verstappen is the third highest driver this year in terms of cost cap.
he's
Uh,
second.
Is he second? I thought Leclerc was ahead of him. Okay, interesting. I
He
know
is
Lando is
second.
one. Who's
Yeah,
third? Third would be
Charles.
Leclerc. Okay. Then Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis and then Piastri. I'm
Okay.
shocked.
Piastri is being a little slept on this year, I think. I think that could be a good shout, but
He, I mean, I'm trying to think. Oh, I don't know. I should go Lance Stroll.
yeah, if you want to get -20 every week for him crashing out, but that's also the fun of it. Which rookies are we trusting? Because I think by the end of it, we're going to have to be picking rookies because we're going to be running out of money. So who's going to have the least DNFs is probably the big one. I believe I picked Ollie Behrman just because I know he has the experience of being an
Ollie,
F1.
really?
Just compared to all the other rookies, he's made a couple F1 appearances already. Liam Lawson obviously has, but he's a little more expensive. Kimi Antonelli is also very expensive in Formula One
Yeah,
racing.
I don't know
So
if I trust Kimmy yet.
Kimi, I think we need to wait a little bit.
I don't
But
know if I trust
we
him
see the
yet.
car and the car's a rocket ship this weekend. It's might be time to discuss it.
I kind of like Jack.
Jack Doohan. He's an interesting one just because of the fact that he's already been told he has a short leash, right? His contract, I believe, can be revoked like halfway through the season if he doesn't
I
perform, which is
know.
kind of crazy. Alpine doesn't ever seem to have any stability within their team, just
They
at
also,
all.
yeah, they're also not good enough to be
They're
doing
kind
that
of the
currently. By
most
the way,
poorly
that's
run organization in all of motorsports, but that's another topic again. I think he could be having some extra motivation with that and outperform the car right away, but it also could lead to him making more mistakes because he's going to be pushing so hard
true.
that he could be, as Gunther Steiner would say, fucking it into the wall. So
We love him.
we do love Gunther Steiner, but he's also running a
Uh,
podcast right now. More than welcome to come on,
I
Gunther.
saw that. I so saw that. I need to take a listen to that. Okay, I'm gonna pick Williams. I'm gonna go with Williams.
It's a good shout.
I think I'm gonna do Williams.
Did we pick Lando? Did you already pick Lando?
I got rid of him. I haven't picked a driver yet. I haven't picked a
Okay.
driver yet.
And just for everyone that is not familiar with F1 Fantasy, five drivers, or is it, I believe it's five, and two
Five drivers.
constructors. So
Yes.
you got to manage the money precisely. But I like to start with Williams.
This is hard. Okay. I like I'm gonna keep Williams for now. And I can't decide whether I want to do McLaren or Ferrari. I don't know if I trust Red Bull. I don't think I trust Red Bull
I
enough.
don't think you can until Liam Lawson proves that he can drive a fast car.
That's why I say I don't trust it enough. Because I feel like with these two teams, you have two very qualified drivers in these positions. But I'm also hesitant with Ferrari with Lewis.
Just because he's new.
Yeah, but it's also
It's
Lewis
Lewis
Hamilton. Like you
Hamilton. Like
can't,
you can't go
yeah.
against them. I think
I'm looking at this percent picks too, and I'm kind of shocked.
what's the numbers on it? Let me pull this up too, actually.
You've got 26% on McLaren and then 36% on Ferrari. Only 13% on Red Bull.
I'm not shocked by the Red Bull one. I think people realize that the car is getting a little slower compared to the other teams. That's not going to be the dominant car that it was last year, or the year before. Probably a better example. And then the Liam Lawson thing is just going to scare people away. It's also how short of a leash does he have? Because you have Yuki Tsunoda, of course, always seems to be involved in the Red Bull seat. If he doesn't get it this year, I think he's probably
Yeah.
going to leave Red Bull entirely, including Racing Bulls.
See, but I could also see a Danny Rick situation happening with him. I don't know.
It's definitely an interesting one, but looking at
I'm
my
gonna have.
team,
I'm gonna do. I'll keep McLaren for now. I have Williams and McLaren for my constructors. I'm down to 56 million. Oh God.
I will say that my two teams, because I made two, cost cap remaining for one of them is quite literally $0. And the second one I have 0.6 million. So I did
Point
do
six.
something similar to what I said earlier, looking at it. For one of my teams, I went very driver heavy and picked some middle tier teams, but I also think these middle tier teams that I picked are sleepers. So I'm not going to tell you until you're done picking, just because we can't end up with the same team if we're competing against each other. It kind of defeats the purpose. But let's just say I do not hate where I'm at with this
I'm
team.
picking. I'm picking some people. I think I've got a. I forgot about Bortoleto. Oh,
He's another one because he's been very good in F2 for years. He's just on
yeah, but you never
quite obviously the
know.
worst team on the grid.
Yeah, I don't. Nico
Nico
Hülkenberg.
Hülkenberg.
Okay, okay. I've got 36 million left.
What's the team looking like right now?
I've got signs and then
The Jack Doohan fan club is starting with Miss Sydney Rupert right here because I have not seen a
yeah,
single
it
person
is.
say that they want Jack Doohan on anywhere near their team. But I believe the computer automatically put Jack Doohan in the
Have
team for me today,
faith.
and I took him out. So we'll see.
Have some faith.
He just annoys me for no reason at all. Just looking at him, he annoys me. But that's just
God, I'm like out of money.
how much money do you have left?
Well, I think I'm gonna go Russell. I feel like Russell's a safe bet. He's always gonna score points.
Russell is always going to score points. It's also a big thing is overtakes in F1 fantasy. And as we've seen, Russell is an aggressive driver. He's willing to take some risks and get some overtakes. He's also willing to cry if it doesn't work. But I think he's going to be a little more aggressive this year, being the number one driver, having
I
something.
agree. I fully agree. Okay, I'm gonna take McLaren out as my constructor, and I'm gonna go heavy on the drivers.
Okay. So I'm going to do this with you.
I'm gonna go heavy on the drivers.
You have Signs currently. You have
I have
Doohan
Jack,
currently.
and then I have Russell. Yeah,
You have Russell currently. Okay. 58.7 million left.
I have Williams though. So I have
Okay.
45.6.
I like the spot you're in. I like it a lot, actually. I think Russell and Signs together is definitely very nice. You probably have the ability to get one more mid-tier driver or even an upper. Just looking at it, I feel like Piastri and Antonelli could be calling your name here. One of the two. I think Oscar could be a move for you.
I know. I'm trying to think if I want to do Charles or if I want to do Oscar.
I think at the price point, I would lean
Let's do
Oscar, but I also
Piastri for
think you
now.
could pick a constructor first and see how much money you have
How
left.
much I have left, but I have to go to like a lower tier.
You're
I've
gonna
got
have to
45.
you're gonna have to go to a lower tier driver no matter what. You're gonna probably have to pick one of Leclerc and Piastri, a lower tier driver, and whatever remaining money you have on a constructor. But say you also want just looking at it, right? Alpine, 9.5 million. Aston Martin, 8.5 million. Racing Bulls, 8 million. I don't hate the Aston Martin move.
I
I think
don't hit that, but I'd rather do.
Haas is at 7 is a bargain, and it gives you some space. So let's just, for argument's sake, we'll put Haas there.
I'm
We'll put
feeling like
Leclerc.
I'm kind of feeling Alpine. I don't know. Let's try Alpine and see what I've got left. I got 36 left.
Alpine, and you have
Yeah.
36.1 million left, which will give you enough for
I think I'm gonna do a Piastri and then I've got 13 left and I'm gonna do Albon and
Alex
I'm gonna
Albon at 12.
have $1.1 million left.
1.1 million. Is there anything that we can do better? There is
Uh,
something that could work. We could upgrade from Doohan to Alonso if you downgrade Alpine.
I don't know if I want to downgrade Alpine though.
There's also, if you take Doohan out entirely, the two guys above him that you can afford would be Esteban Ocon and Lance Stroll.
I love Esty Bestie is the
Esty
problem.
Bestie. Esty Bestie.
In a
Esty
Haas
Bestie would
though.
leave you with 1 million. Lance Stroll would leave you with 0.2 million, which is crazy that Lance Stroll is more than some of these guys. But Adrian
He
Newey
seems
effect.
consistent in a way, I guess.
Adrian Newey effect. He's consistently bad, but what are we thinking, Sid?
Oh, do I drop? Do I drop Albon and go for Alonso?
There could be another thing that works, actually. Hold up. Let's think here.
Or do I don't know. I like
I'm playing around with
oh.
it real quick. Piastri. There's a world where you can have Piastri and Leclerc.
Yeah, but who do I lose at
You would
that
take
point?
Russell out. I feel like I'm overcomplicating this now. I don't know. There's a way it works.
Yeah, but I feel like Russell's consistent though.
I think that's very fair.
He's very, very consistent. So like I feel like if I have at least Piastri and Russell as two dominating drivers that are constantly scoring points, I can mess around with maybe Carlos and Albon, who maybe in a worse off car, but may score the lower of the points, and then just add a
They're going to be making a lot of overtakes as probably the best team in the middle. I don't hate it at all. You are also in very Williams heavy with Sainz, Albon, and the Williams team.
I know that's the problem. That's why I say, should I get rid of Albon? I kind of feel like I should.
So, what I was thinking, if you get rid of Albon, you have 20 million.
Yep.
Get rid of Alpine, you have 29, which gives you the ability to get Leclerc. Actually, well, that doesn't work at all. Never mind.
I
Do
was
not
gonna say I don't
listen
have
to
any
me.
money.
Do not listen to me. So, Sainz, Russell, Piastri leaves you with 20 million left. Say you do Albon. I think you could take a shot with Lance Stroll. I don't hate it.
I don't, I don't hate it, but I don't know.
I
I'd
also,
rather
if
have
you look at the percent
Alonso.
picked, Esteban Ocon at 31%.
I saw that.
Could be a
So do I keep Alpine then? Should I keep Alpine? Or should I go with Aston Martin?
see, this is where my team comes in because just to tell you, the two teams that I put in, I believe both of my teams, Williams and Aston Martin, which I believe gives you a little more flexibility. My drivers are completely different than yours, so we don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
Say you did Aston Martin, you now have 9.3 million on a driver, which could get you a Fernando Alonso.
Okay, I think I like my Alonso. I like Alonso, and I like, you know what? I'm gonna go with SD Bestie. We're gonna do a SD Bestie, and I'm gonna put. I've got 13 million.
So you're taking Albon out for Esteban. 13.7 million on a
Mm,
constructor.
hold on, let me think here. You know what?
This also allows you to upgrade from Russell to Leclerc if you wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm confident enough in Ferrari. I'm gonna stick with Alpine. I'm gonna do Alpine and Williams. Controversial, but I'm gonna stick with Alpine and Williams. I've got $1 million left.
So what is your team currently?
I've got Sainz, Albon, Russell, Piastri, and Ocon.
Okay. Sainz, Albon, Russell, Piastri. Okay.
I think I'm locked in unless I do Kimmy or Lawson.
It would
But
be,
I'd rather have George.
I think this is as locked in as you probably can get, unless you would prefer
I think
Ocon
I'm
over
gonna.
Stroll. Or Stroll
I.
over.
You know what? I'm gonna put some faith in SD Bestie this year.
All
I'm gonna do
right.
it.
Well,
We're gonna see how he does in a
we'll see how
Haas.
Sydney's team works. And now that Sydney's team is done, I'll tell everyone what my team is. So my first
We did it.
team,
I'm gonna do it.
my team name last year was Lando Chuck Norris. That was taken this year, which was a little unfortunate, but I renamed my team Lando Chuck Norris was taken this year. So my first team, I went a little bit mixed with driver and constructor. The constructors, I had McLaren, and the other constructor I had Williams. I'm a firm believer in Williams this year. I think Carlos
I
Sainz
agree.
is going to
I
be
agree.
a difference maker. For my driver, I have Max Verstappen as my first one. To have the opportunity to have both McLarens and Max Verstappen, I feel like you can never go wrong with that. And then after that, my drivers get a little rough. I went heavy on my top three, and then I got a little rough. I went Fernando Alonso, Esteban Ocon, Nico Hulkenberg, and Gabriel Bortoleto. So that's a risky play. The second team I had, which is still a little risky for sure. I'm probably gonna have to tinker with this a little bit more. I did go super heavy on drivers in this team, where I have Lando and Max. I have both of them. My drivers
You have a constructor.
alongside them are Nico Hulkenberg, Esteban Ocon, and Ollie Behrman. So
Oh,
pretty terrible after that. My constructors would be Williams. Again, not getting rid of them anywhere. And I think Aston Martin and Williams will be the two mid teams that will be fighting each other the entire season. So we'll see what happens. I know Peter Marsh has already made his team. Nick has not yet, but we'll see what happens there.
I know. I need to check out Peter's. I'm
Peter's
scared.
team is scary. We don't get to see that until the weekend starts.
I'm very nervous.
I'm very nervous. Peter, shout out Peter, man. He's gonna be fun. And I don't know if you noticed this too. You can do 2 times points on one of your drivers, which I'm not sure
I did.
who would you pick?
I did. I picked Oscar.
That is probably a good shout.
I
So
picked Oscar.
that's done. That was a fun little F1 fantasy deal.
That was needed. That was fun. If you guys haven't signed up, go
You
sign up for
should
this. This is
join
amazing.
our you should join our league.
This is
And
amazing. I
now,
live under a rock.
now that I think we can go to our last topic, it's probably the biggest one that should be talked about.
Oh no.
Let's talk some race predictions this weekend because it is going to be a chaotic one.
It's gonna be
It
scary.
is, of course, the Australian Grand Prix starting this weekend, 12 o'clock midnight our time on
Oh
Saturday night,
no.
Sunday morning. I know your parents are visiting you this weekend. You're probably not going to be able to
They
watch it, which is
are.
unfortunate, but
I'm gonna watch it. I'm definitely gonna watch. It's the first race of the
you
season. What do you
have
mean
to,
I'm not
right?
gonna watch
Me and
it?
my dad have already planned to be staying awake watching that race. Maybe
I
I
told
go
my
to the
mom she has
F1
to stay
bar
up.
in New York City. We'll see. We've had a good time there, good experience the one time that we did it.
Yes.
Maybe we'll
Yes,
do
yes,
that again.
yes.
But
Highly
Australian Grand
recommend.
Prix, any early thoughts with the rain in the forecast, the load of rookies? What are we in for?
Was it the Brazil race last year that was an absolute mess with the rain? Was
I think
it
there was a
Brazil?
couple of races last year that were a little sketchy with some rain, but I believe Brazil
It
was.
was one of the later
I
ones. It
believe
was
it
like
was.
one of the last races. I remember. I think it was because there was a two. It was like postponed for 2 hours.
Yes, I do believe.
I think it was Brazil.
Let me check
I'm
that for you
imagining
last year.
Australia right now to be Brazil times 10.
That would be that would be entertaining. 6 rookies in this
I
year's class.
6 rookies, rain in the forecast.
What was the
First
stat that you sent me
race,
today? Let's take a look at this real quick.
first race of the season. I feel like everybody's gonna be so on edge. I I'm scared. I'm so scared. I am nervous. I'm very
It
nervous.
is it's going to lead to a lot of entertainment, but we never want to root for crashes. We want to make sure it's a clean race and have a little fun.
Yes, we always want a clean
We do
race.
root for chaos in terms of overtaking, aggressive driving. And I think rain just adds to that element because people are going to be cautious,
Yeah,
but also you're going to see guys like Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton who are known for driving in the rain
dominate. Just absolutely.
absolutely
That's what I'm
dominate.
saying. I'm excited because I'm very curious to see how a lot of these new drivers and how people are gonna react, especially if it does rain in the forecast, especially with
New cars,
new cars and
entirely
everything.
new things. These are cars that they've
Yeah,
driven, what, 4 or 5 times,
if that,
if
like it's
that.
gonna
Liam
be,
Lawson maybe
it's
gets a little bit of an exception with the time that he's raced for Racing
it's
Bulls and AlphaTauri, but it's
it's
definitely.
gonna be scary.
Do we have a
I'm
winning prediction?
nervous.
Do we have anyone predicted for a winner?
Honestly, I don't even think I can confidently be a winner right now.
I can't at all give you any confident answer, but I'm gonna give you the fun answer.
Okay.
Young driver, great team, is one of the top teams, and it's his home race. Oscar Piastri is pulling it out this weekend. He is
You know
going
what?
to
I can see it.
absolutely shock everyone. There's going to be
I
no
can
papaya
see
rules
it.
yet. Lando hasn't done enough this season to earn papaya rules. Oscar Piastri is
No.
going to use that extra motivation of it being his home race, first race back in the F1 season, and he is going to absolutely ball this weekend, and I think he's going to win. That is probably going to be a bold prediction. Probably not going to happen.
I
I
don't
think
think
it can
as bold
work.
as you think, though. I honestly think it's a good prediction. He performed great last season. I mean, he won what, two races, I believe?
He won two races. Lando
Two
won three.
races. He did pretty well. Like,
I
I
believe he
mean,
won a sprint as well. So
I think he did too. I think it was a sprint.
he had a very successful year last year. It's only going to get better now that he has a full year in the car. So
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it's going to be a really good year for him. It
I
just in general.
but I think he'll come first. I think Lando will be on the podium, and I think Max will be on the podium to start the season. I don't think you can ever bet against Max. I think
Mm-mm.
McLaren is kind of showing that they're going to be the team that everyone has to go through this year. I think Ferrari is going to still take a little bit of time just with getting used to Lewis.
Yeah.
McLaren has gotten off to some slow starts in the past. You saw last year, Sainz was outperforming him the first couple of races. I think this is the year. McLaren shows up right away. Max does his thing. I think Leclerc will start fourth, Lewis maybe fifth, and then you'll see the Mercedes and Liam Lawson come in after them. That's just
Coming after. I can see it. I believe it. I totally believe it. I like that. I like the Oscar prediction. I kind of agree with it.
there we go.
I kind of agree with it. If it's not Oscar, I'm gonna put like bold random move. Let's do Fernando Alonso. Why not?
You can
He
never
needs
bet
one.
against the old man, the old rookie,
He
but
needs one. He
I
needs
think
one.
Aston Martin could come up slowly towards the end of the season, depending on if Newey has made any strides. Newey has said that they haven't, that they're going to be focusing on the new regulations. However, it's Adrian Newey. You never
Ah, I was
know.
gonna say, I don't
We've
know.
seen Aston Martin shock people before a couple years ago when they were finishing second in the first race. Maybe they do something
We'll
like that
see.
again, but we never know.
It's gonna be an interesting race. I am very, 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 very nervous.
I
I'm nervous.
It's gonna be fun. It's
I'm
going to work.
excited. We're back. We're finally back.
It
Oh my
took
gosh,
so
I'm so
long. It
excited.
took months, but here we are. The podcast, the first
We got it
episode is
rolling, you know.
nearing its end. We've actually
I
done it.
know.
For
I
everyone who's
know.
watched
Oh,
this, please leave your comments, leave your thoughts on what's going to happen this weekend.
please. Yes. Join our
We're
fantasy team so you
Join our
can
fantasy
most likely
team.
beat me. Most likely beat me.
We're new to this whole podcasting thing. Give us some slack the first episode. It's probably gonna take some time to get used to
It
it, but
only, you know what? It only gets better from here.
it's only gonna get better. We want to hear your feedback. Don't
Only
roast
gets
us
better
too
from
hard,
here.
please. We're having a little fun. It's not supposed to be
Yes.
great right away. Just two
Oh,
people. It's gonna be great right away, but
oh my gosh. Side comment. Did you see Zach's comment about Lando?
oh,
The
The
Sienna
Lando era.
Schumacher. Oh my gosh. I
I
love
love
him, but
the
also like
manifestation. We're manifesting it too. So please let
I
the
saw
Lando
that. I
era
was
begin. Let it begin. But I'll say we'll probably try to do these every week, right? See how it
I would say
goes.
so every week. Yeah.
I think we've gotten maybe into a little groove of filming on a Tuesday or Wednesday,
Yeah.
taking
We
four
could
days
work.
to edit it and see if we can do it by the race
We
week and see
get
what
it done by
happens.
then.
But um
Yeah, like race predictions.
yeah, I like
And
it.
then we can talk
Race
about how it's gonna
debriefs. It's gonna be great.
these
It's
are
going
gonna
to be
be
great. We also have
interesting.
some fun things planned. F1 bar in New York City. We want to do a tour of it next time Sydney comes to New
Woo!
York. We've been there
Yes.
once before. Absolutely
So highly
incredible. We did
recommend.
that race
Awesome.
for a 1
So
a.m. start
awesome.
race.
It was so awesome.
I didn't think there was going to be nearly as many people as there were because it was a 1 a.m. start. That
Oh,
bar
that was crazy.
was
It was packed.
absolutely packed till the
It
end.
was packed. It
And it
was
was great.
so
We met a lot of
packed.
great people that we hopefully will meet again this
It was
year.
awesome.
I know the
It was
Philadelphia
absolutely
F1
awesome.
Arcade is coming soon, hopefully going to open next time
Yes,
there we're going to
it
go.
is. I'm
And
hoping this summer it is open. If not DC, we
and
will
there
be in
have been
DC if not.
rumblings of me and Sydney going to take a trip to DC to go to this F1 arcade in DC to
Yes.
take
Yes.
a little bit of a viewing on that. But in terms of the first episode, I think we've covered everything, right, Sid?
I think we covered. I think we did pretty good. I love it. I'm excited for this weekend and I'm excited to get this rolling. So
It's going to be a very fun time. So thank you for everyone who's listening. It's going to be great. Hopefully, it's the
I'm
start of something great, and it's only going to
excited.
get better from here. So let's have a great race weekend, and let's see you guys next week.
Have a good weekend,
Do it,
guys.
guys. See you later.